Hi guys, Future Eddie here. So in a few minutes I'm going to play episode 10 for you of the Geek Conclave mixtapes. Reason I'm doing this little intro is, unfortunately, the episode's a little out of date in regards to the Batman information. So when we did record on September 8th, the Batman, Matt Reeves' movie, shut down due to Robert Pattinson having COVID. Well, allegedly having COVID. The studio hasn't really confirmed if it was him or not, but someone did have it, and that's why they shut down. They resumed filming on September 18th, so I just want to clear that up, because had I just published it without doing this little intro, I mean, it would have been like way out of date. On top of that, we did talk about basketball in the beginning, and it was still the Rockets versus the Lakers, and now it's the Western Conference Finals, and they're still up 2-0, but now it's against Denver. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. This video you'll see in a minute, for those of you listening on, or for those of you watching it, the video version. I put some clips in here and did a little editing that way. That's why it took me a while, on top of work and all that stuff. But it is, I wanted to kind of release it on Batman Day. And the funny thing about Batman Day this year is, if you look on Google, it'll tell you it is Monday, September 21st. But DC says it's September 19th. So I guess you should really go with DC, since, you know, it's their character. But Google did kind of confuse it, saying it was September 21st. So, according to Google, this came out on Batman Day. But if we're not going with Google, then I'm 2 days late. Anyways, I just wanted to do this little intro in the beginning. And now you guys can hear episode 10.
And here we go. Hope you're ready. It'll be here any minute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Bingo!
All right.
Follow up, doctor!
This is the way.
Now, whatever you do, don't push this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
Jarvis, drop my needle.
Roger, control. All status go.
Another happy landing.
Let's start the show.
I have my guests with me, Paul and Tommy. How's it going, guys?
Doing good. Lakers are up 2-1.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's going good. How was you guys' Labor Day?
Hot.
Uneventful. Yes, and hot. Yes.
And hot, yeah.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Too hot.
Yeah, my air conditioner was shut off around 4 o'clock. So before till I kept texting you guys for it to come back on.
That's crazy.
It was annoying, super annoying. Just further advice to anybody out there, and you have a Nest, don't sign up for the where the California Southern Edison can control your thermostat. Sucks. It's not worth the savings. My family learned that the hard way. But yes, Paul did say the Lakers are up 2-1. It was a good game. I was able to catch the last 5 minutes. So yeah, what happened exactly when I turned it on? Like, Covington fell and like hit his head or something.
Well, he fell into Davis's elbow, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Cause yeah, I just like, when I turned it on, like, I guess the camera was on Davis and he was like going like this, but he was walking, and then I just saw them like carrying off Covington. I'm like, what the hell happened? And like, I was expecting like a replay, but I guess I had already missed the multiple replays by the time I turned the TV on. And I was like, what's going on? And then they're just like, and then they started the game. I'm like, what? What happened? So,
yeah, Covington, he went into Davis's elbow, while Covington's elbow hit Davis, I think, in the hip, or like his side or whatever. And that's what caused him to like fall down. But of course, Covington got the worst of it.
Well, you don't want injury on anybody, but I'm just glad it's not a Laker. So, yeah. So basketball is looking good. Really excited, like really fast on that. I had no idea Milwaukee would be out this fast. I predicted them in my bracket to move on to the Eastern Finals. I had them in Boston, but now it looks like it'll be Miami and Boston. So
That's gonna be a pretty good matchup, I believe.
Yeah, I was watching because I know you said you weren't watching anymore. Before we came on, I ate dinner and then I was watching Inside NBA. They were commenting on like how Boston is pretty much. They all feel that they're going to be in the Eastern Finals. It's like Miami is like the only actual threat. So
don't sleep on Toronto because they can still reel off 2 wins and they're back in it. But I'm hoping for a Toronto comeback.
So you want Toronto in it? You want Toronto, Miami?
I think that's just due to my hatred to the Celtics.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Originally, I wanted the Bucks and the Lakers, but that ain't gonna happen at all. So.
When is Giannis a free agent?
This coming year.
Yeah, he's unrestricted for 2021. That's what they're saying because there's a whole thing now. I guess on Twitter, you know how they read the tweets on Inside NBA. Someone tweeted they want Charles Barkley saying because says don't be a chump because he basically was talking to Giannis, telling Giannis, hey, don't be a chump, stick with the Bucks and like do your own thing, like be like Jordan, be like Nowitzki, and just stay. He said don't be a chump, and I was waiting for him to say like other players, but he didn't. So I was trying to see who he was thinking of. I'm not gonna lie to you, Kevin Durant came to mind when he said that. So, but yeah, we'll see.
It could be a few of them though, because LeBron did it, Durant did it, Paul George. You could say Paul George did it to an extent. You know what I mean? Kawhi.
Well, I mean,
it's the culture now.
It's the culture, and then they have more a lot of more freedom to decide where they want to go. Whereas before that wasn't the case. It was like, shut up, you're going over here, and you but now it's like they have more leeway. So
I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying like, and it's good that they have that power, but at the same time, I do wish that some of these superstars would stay.
I think like Durant was one of the ones that I kind of wanted him to stay, and I know that recently out of the super team formation, like he was the one that left the most like sour taste in my mouth. I was really like disappointed when he went to Golden State. And it's not just the like, because everyone's making super teams, and yes, you can make that argument, but you basically went with the team that knocked you out. Like you could have gone and formed a super team with another. I don't know, another like team, but Golden State, it's like, dude, like, yeah, you won yourself. I mean, I get it. Everyone chases rings, but I don't know. I just like it was just really disappointing because I guess the character that I thought he had, I thought he was actually gonna stand his ground and actually be like Russell Westbrook and say, nah, I'm gonna stay here. No, not at all. So.
But he kind of made the right decision in the sense that at least leaving the Thunder, just because he wasn't gonna win anything with Russell Westbrook. Like, just Russell Westbrook's not that type of player. Like he's a good player, but I don't see him as a championship. I don't know. And he has to be in the right situation. Like, it doesn't seem like he could play within the system. Like he kind of just does his own thing. He's not really a team player per se. I know he does that whole average triple double for a whole season, but it's like one of those selfish triple doubles, I think. So I just don't think he's that type of player. Like, he's not like a Steph Curry. I don't think he could play within a system. I think he's just like a free spirit, I guess. He plays that way. So, Paul, thoughts? I know you have something to say about basketball talk.
No, I absolutely agree because KD was my boy. Like, you guys, I don't know if you've seen that one video that I have where I got my shoe signed by KD.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
He's been my favorite player, like in the newer era at least.
Yeah, actively.
Yeah. Just because I like the way that he plays. He's a really tall guy, has handles, and can shoot like so effortlessly, and that's what I liked about his game. And plus, him and Kobe were cool and everything, so I've always liked him. It's just that when he went to that team, he could have gone to any other team.
Yep, that's what I said.
He went to that team. That's the only thing that I have against him, but it is his own narrative. It's his own story. He makes money. He doesn't really care about what I think what you guys think.
That's true.
So,
and now he's playing for Brooklyn, so with
and I'm
Kyrie.
happy about
and I'm actually cool with that. So
like my love for KD is coming back again, and I do hope that he does get healthy and he's at least like 90-95% of what KD was. I'm hoping, just because that's a pretty bad injury. So we'll see, but I still like him.
Yeah, I don't think that injury will affect his game too much because the type of player he is. He's more of like catch and shoot. He is an explosive type. He's unique. He has that length, so I think he'll be fine. He just has to adapt to this, adapt to that injury. And they say it takes like about a year to fully recover. 2 years.
And then, well, I mean, the whole situation with the NBA too, because after the whole bubble situation, and I think they're gonna go back into the bubble. But I think there's gonna be different bubbles. I haven't really researched the 2021 season. Do you know what's going on with that, Paul? Or I don't know. I just know that I might get pushed back a couple weeks because of the fact that the protests pushed back the playoffs, and then like I think originally they were supposed to start in December, and I think they still might, but it might be like the week before Christmas they might start now, as opposed to actually like the first week of December. So.
Yeah, it's all just depending on how they get the arenas together, because it's kind of like how hockey has 2 hubs.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they might be doing the same thing, maybe, but we'll see.
We'll see what just happens with football, because I'm not gonna I'm excited for basketball, but I'm also very excited for football next week. But I'm also scared shitless for it too. Because...
Is it actually the preseason or?
No, there is no preseason. It's just straight up football.
Straight up.
So it was like, because I think there's still a Thursday game. Because that's when I texted you if you saw what Charles Barkley said. He got mad that the Lakers and the Rockets play at 7 p.m. He's like, can't they start that game earlier? He's, what do you mean start that game earlier? And Ernie's like, what do you mean start the game earlier? And he's like, because the rest of the world, the rest of America is gonna be wanting to watch the Texans and the Chiefs. I'm like, I don't know about that, but. Yeah, I just hope it's not like baseball in the beginning, because you know how like a couple teams caught COVID on baseball. I'm hoping football doesn't do that, because it is a contact sport. So far, I guess their training camps, everything's been good. So we'll see, but it's been a weird freaking year all the way around. I think that's pretty much it for sports talk. So the main topic at hand that we are supposed to talk about, I kind of picked it just because it was more recent news, and it's kind of everyone at work that would talk about like pop culture would talk about this, was Batman. So in case people don't know, the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman, canceled production again because Robert Pattinson got COVID. So it's going to be most likely delayed even longer. They haven't said anything about the date yet, but just depending, like if this happens, obviously it's going to have to get pushed back. So then it just made me think about like, okay, well, when we saw the trailer, we liked the trailer, and I was just wondering, like, as far as the new Batman movie goes, like, what do you guys want from it? Like, what do you hope to see? What do you hope not to see? And then just like based off your expectations, like what's been out in the new, like the live action Batmans, like what is your list of like the top Batmans and all that? So that's basically what we're going to talk about today. So we'll just get right into it. Who wants to go first on what they want from the new Batman movie?
Go ahead, Paul.
Honestly, I just want it to be good and entertaining. Like, I don't have like a checkbox as far as a list on what needs to be covered. I think with the newer generation, I think they know how to kind of write a pretty decent script, but there's nothing like in my end that I'm like really looking at. Just surprise me with a good story, and I think I'll be good, for me at least.
Okay, Tommy.
Same thing with Paul. What Paul said. I really just want a good story, and like an entertaining movie, some good action. I want some more fight scenes, like the Batman warehouse scene. Like that scene that they had in the trailer was pretty cool. The one thing I do want though is I want them to try to connect it to an overall DC universe. Like I really would love something like some kind of tie-in with one of the other movies, Wonder Woman, new Superman, Justice League, whatever, something to tie it into a bigger picture. But I don't know if that's possible or.
So you don't want a one and done. You want a world building experience.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want something that's gonna tie it into an overall just bigger universe. So hopefully that happens. If not, well, because we already had the Nolan experience. We already had the Michael Keaton experience with just Batman by himself, and that's cool and all. But it just now the way everything is, but like what Marvel did, you kind of need a to step it up now. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of that's where I'm kind of at with that.
Okay. I mean, my stuff is kind of similar to you guys. As far as like the Batman stuff, I guess different iterations kind of have brought certain things out of the comics, but the one thing that I think that they're missing, and I hope they can do it, but not in like a corny way, is actually show the detective side of Batman. Like, I know the Nolan universe did come pretty close to it with him like inspecting the bullet and re-putting it together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing that the live action movies have missed, because in the animated series you get it all the time, like when he does matches Malone, and he goes undercover and then he does like his detective work in the cartoon, it's flawless. And it's just, I think that's the gap that they haven't quite connected yet with live action, and that's the only, like, I guess, thing I'm hoping for. But it's not like a checkbox, like if they don't do it I'm not gonna get like super pissed about it, but it's just something I would like to see, because I think that could be one thing that sets this Batman apart from all the others, is that, like, it would be like, oh wow, like he really is the world's greatest detective, and this Batman went and did that. So that's pretty much, I guess, my hope for that movie. But other than that, from what the trailer is and everything, it looks like it's going to be dark. So depending on the Batman comics you like, I mean, it's pretty much in line with what's been out recently. So
I think they also said that though too. I think that they said Matt Reeves' script was kind of was focusing more on the detective side of it. So hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, in the video game, like at the Arkham games, they use that. That's a main part of it too. So that's why I'm just saying that there's, like, for some reason in like the live action movies, like, it's kind of just, I guess they just figure off camera, people feel, oh well, he figured it out, but it's like, okay, well, I don't know, I just kind of want to see that. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, there's not much news that has come out from that, just that, you know, he's everyone's on a break on production.
Michael Giacchino's doing the score, right?
Yes. Yeah, so that should be good. Another cinema. Yeah, well, how many franchises is that now? So he did Spider-Man, the Batman, Doctor Strange.
That's your boy, huh, Paul? That's your boy.
That's my boy, man.
He did Rogue One. He did Rogue One. So
he's like he did Lost.
Yeah.
He's like one of the only guys that can make me cry straight up.
Hey, I never seen one episode of Lost, and I went to that show that we had the band playing.
Yeah.
And he had me tearing up. I never watched one episode of that show, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I need to watch that. Oh, that's right, huh? He did do Up. Dude, saddest freaking 8 minutes in cinema history.
He did Up?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That monologue is, I mean, the animation obviously moves you, but the freaking music, dude, the score is perfect. That scene when she falls down the hill, and then I remember that they do just tear everyone, and the next scene is just the funeral. I was like, holy shit! Like, I just remember like, holy shit! Like, man.
And that's like 10 minutes in.
I remember the tagline when it came out: "Better love story than Twilight."
Better love story than The Notebook. So yeah.
I don't know, man. I know a couple ladies that would not agree with you there, but
yeah, Giacchino is the top of my list for Batman, man.
Should be good if he's doing the soundtrack. It should be really good.
The score should be good.
Yeah, they're bringing some good people on that production, on that movie. So yeah, Matt Reeves, Pattinson.
We'll see. Like I said last podcast, I still feel like, how about you wanting it to be like another, like, and a part of a bigger picture. I really think it just has to we have to wait and see what the Snyder Cut does, because if the Snyder Cut is like well received, then obviously they'll push this Batman to the side and be like, oh, you guys still want more Ben Affleck? Cool. So. Well,
they have that option to do the whole multiverse as well. You know what I mean? So that's an option.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we'll see, because as far as like if the DC side of comics, I think they already discontinued it, ironically, but the Black Label, which was supposed to be like the really dark and like exclusive things, that's basically what the Joker movie was being treated as, like DC's Black Label for film. So this Batman movie was supposed to go down that route and just be like one and done, but if they are going to do the multiverse version, then I'm all for it, because then maybe you get, like, you know, you get Christopher Nolan's Batman again, maybe, possibly. I don't know. So with that said, it's pretty obvious. It should probably be at the top of my list. But what is your ranking of the Batman movies?
We're starting from worst to best, or
we could do that. So just to like bring in the list. So these are live action Batman in film, not TV shows. So we won't be critiquing Gotham. We won't be critiquing Titans. I think or the Arrowverse that actually had Kevin Conroy be Batman in an actual physical form.
I haven't seen that.
I heard it was weird, so I haven't seen it. But he was Elseworlds Batman, so he killed. So
yeah.
But as far as the rankings that we are going to do, we are including Adam West's Batman in this, and then because they are live action Batmans, Batman vs Superman and Justice League are in this list. Suicide Squad as well, because Batman was in Suicide Squad. So we'll see where this list differs. It might not differ, but yeah, go ahead and so the rankings, I'd be like, I guess one thing why it is for you. Like, I can name why these are where they are. So if you guys want to get that deep, you can. If not, don't worry about it. So whoever wants to go first, and however you guys want to start. If you want to start best to worst or worst to best, whatever.
I'm gonna start with a disclaimer. I never watched Batman 66, so.
You guys never watched a TV show? Because I mean, it's essentially the movie was just a long episode.
Yeah, I remember the scene where the guy has what's it called? Robin and Batman are in the helicopter and they have like a bomb or whatever.
Yeah.
I have not watched the movie fully through, but I'm putting in my disclaimer.
Or shark repellent. It had shark repellent.
Sorry. Yeah.
So.
It's not on my list because I didn't watch it.
That's fair.
I put it on my list, but I didn't watch it either, so I just put it at the bottom. So. Sorry, Eddie.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so
it's on HBO Max. I had no interest. So I'm sorry.
Hey, I mean, it's a good. I mean, you got to know what you're watching. So it's
yeah.
It's a product of its time. It's a product of the Batman comics that were out at the time. He was campy. Yeah. The show was campy. Yeah. It was obviously meant for little kids. It moved merchandise, so it was there for a reason. So, but yeah. So is that going to be then? I guess your bottom of the barrel for that.
I have to put it, like Paul was saying, like non-applicable because we didn't really watch it. So I'm gonna have to put it at the bottom.
It's not on the bottom for me.
Okay, that's fair.
How about you? What's your? Why don't you start it off? Since
I think everybody knows what my bottom is. So it's I have a disclaimer for it because I haven't fully seen the full version of it. And I'm just basing it off the first 5 minutes of the fucking movie. But
you can't get mad at us for not watching 66.
No, I'm not. I didn't say I get mad at you. I didn't even get mad. What the hell?
You should have at least watched that for this podcast. Like.
No, I'm gonna watch the Justice League sober. God help me. but I'm gonna watch it sober closer to when the Snyder Cut comes out. So when they cover release date for the Snyder Cut, I'll watch it so that I can mentally prepare myself and recover from whatever the fuck that is, and then watch the Snyder Cut.
I'm disappointed you didn't watch it for this podcast. But
I've seen everything else. Come on, man. I had to work, and I know, like, I had better things. I was playing Avengers. I had better things to do than watch a shitty movie, because we all know it's a shitty movie.
It's Batman.
No, it's a mopey, depressed man who thinks he's Batman.
No, I know,
but is not Batman. So, with the disclaimer of the Justice League Batman, the next one up would be Batman vs Superman Batman. So,
okay.
I just feel that it was like the positive things from it. I'll be honest with you, the fight scene. Even though the warehouse scene is the Arkham Knight trailer, it is a dope ass like fight scene. Like, I'll admit, like, if I had seen it in theaters, I would have been like, oh fuck, finally this is the Batman I want to see in theaters kicking ass. But other than that, I mean, I guess he was too brooding. and he was just, I don't know. He wasn't like the Batman that I enjoyed watching. I was just like, when does this thing end?
So your bottom of the barrel is Justice League, and then the next one would be Batman vs.
Yeah,
Superman?
because, well, the one that I've actually watched. Like I said, Justice League is just a disclaimer based off the first 5 minutes, because Batman would never discuss his plan in front of a basic low-level thug with Alfred like that. That's not a Batman move, so... That's
What
just
part
me
did
being
he-
the geek. In the beginning, man, when he, like, that I remember, because that's, like, that I saw this, and this isn't fucking Batman. He's literally on the roof with the thug, and the parademon pops up, and he goes to Alfred, it's a parademon, blah, 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 blah. And he's, like, talking about, like, the whole, like, what the fuck's going on with the thug there. Not even knocked out. The thug is still conscious.
Oh.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? This isn't Batman. And then I'll give benefit of the doubt. It's probably a Josh Whedon thing. So we'll find out.
I think I rated it higher just because it was a decent movie, I guess. But
well,
like,
this
it
is
was
off the
watchable.
Batman in creation. Like, I know there's other
if
people
you're-
on there. I'm just Batman himself.
Yeah. If you're basing it just on the Batman portion of it, yeah, Batman was the worst part of that movie. I'll say that. The Justice League movie, Batman was the worst part. The Josh Whedon Batman was the worst part of that movie. So I will see that.
So that's why I put a disclaimer, because I'm going, and then it's also because I'm like, if people like heard me on the other podcast we spent on the Bucketheads, like I would shit on Zack Snyder all the time, and now I figure it's like not a fair assumption because his Justice League movie hasn't been out yet, so maybe he'll redeem himself.
Yeah.
But the 5 minutes I saw, and then what Batman vs Superman gave me, I'm really not into seeing the rest of Whedon's Batman, especially the what you told me, how he said that like in his world Batman got raped or something. I'm like, what? Why? God, why? No, I know that's what you told me that Snyder said.
Snyder said that.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? Like,
So
it's
based on the numbers,
a whole nother spectrum of trauma that he's trying to create for this already fucked up man in general. Let's just add that he was raped in prison.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of anything. Okay, so wait, I'm going 1 through 11. I think Paul, you did the same thing, 1 through 11. I think you were going 1 through 10. I think.
Well, I didn't put Suicide Squad, but that's why like I'll throw Suicide Squad in it. So.
Okay. So what was your bottom of the barrel movie then, Paul? The
So
worst one.
mine was kind of based off the actual movie rather than the portrayal of Batman, and that's how I kind of did the list.
Okay.
Same thing.
So
Me as well.
so for mine, I have Batman vs Superman as my bottom one.
Batman
To
Superman,
me,
okay.
to me, it was one of those ones where the hype does not match.
Oh, it
the
was so hype train for a fucking disappointment.
It was a great trailer, like the first one that they came out in Comic-Con.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I'll give you the visual again. Zack Snyder is amazing with visuals. That Batman suit is fucking amazing, but
It's just it just didn't pan out. Like
the execution just wasn't
convoluted.
there. Mm-mm.
Correct. To me, it was. I use this movie a lot to fall asleep to, because it's kind of boring. I know some people do watch like those beach sound effects and everything. I watch Batman vs Superman to like fall asleep to.
I gotta try that.
No, see, and that's the funny that you bring that up, because so I didn't have the chance to see Batman vs Superman in theaters, and I remember wanting to, and then I know I was just busy with work, and then I think the reviews on it were like mixed, and then I was like, well, I'll wait till the next weekend to see if it tanked. Like I know that the second week was like really low, and like nobody wanted to watch it, so I'm like, I'll just wait for it to come out. So then, lo and behold, you hear chatter of like Blu-ray coming out. Oh, there's a Snyder version that's a longer cut, and it's better than what the studio wanted him to do. Oh, okay, cool. So I won't watch the theater cut. I'll wait for the Snyder cut version. I watched the Snyder cut version. Granted, I was like sick at the time when I tried to watch it. I was like actually called out from work, but I had the movie, and my dad was like, "I'll watch it with you." My dad fell asleep. I was sick. I fell asleep, but I gave it benefit of the doubt. Like I was sick. I was like relaxed in my room. I was bound to fall asleep, so I tried watching it again when I wasn't sick. Fell asleep. I woke up and I'm like, oh, there's Wonder Woman on screen. She's pretty. And then that's pretty much it took me 3 times to watch it. watch it all the way through, and I was just like, when my dad, who is the easiest person to please in the world with movies, the whole Martha scene.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
My dad was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Their mom is both named Martha." And in Spanish, ¿y qué? And like exactly, it's like, and why? What does that have to do with anything? So
Yeah.
I literally, every time I see that now, it's just, I see Step Brothers. Like, are we best friends now? So.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But.
All right. Okay, so my bottom of the bottom was Batman 66, just because I haven't seen it. Didn't want to. After that, my bottom is Batman and Robin. That's the one with George Clooney.
Yes.
I put it there. It wasn't as campy as I guess Batman 66. I didn't ever see Batman 66, so I couldn't really compare it to that. But I remember watching it, and I just remember like walking out of the movie. I remember watching it in theaters. I remember leaving the theater saying like, "This is like crap." Like, it was just the worst. And it was so bad. They didn't make another Batman movie for years after that. Not until Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
from 97 to 2005.
From what? How
1997 to 2005.
So 8 years. So that's how bad that movie was. That's why I had to put it at the bottom. So that one's Batman and Robin. So I hated that movie. It's so bad. It was just, it's trash.
The puns, bro. The puns.
Worse than Snyder. Snyder's bad. So that was worse than that. That was, I think, Joel Schumacher. So that was just.
Yeah.
I can't. That was just. That's one of the worst comic book movies of all time. That one, Wolverine, Spider-Man 3, Wolverine, X-Men Origins. That's crap too. So.
Well, yeah. you mean the Wolverine and Wolverine Origins, or just
no X-Men Origins? That was just that.
No, I know. Like, which are you saying? Both of them are crap.
I wasn't a big fan of the Wolverine, but it wasn't as bad as X-Men Origins Wolverine. So.
Yeah.
I give it that. X-Men Origins Wolverine, they messed up everybody. Deadpool, Adamantium, Head Bullets. Like, it was just a really bad movie too. So, but yeah, Batman and Robin's just the bottom of the barrel, like crap on top of crap. So, anyways, let's move on.
All right, Paul, what's yours?
Okay, so for number 10, so Batman and Superman was so bad that it was bad. Batman and Robin to me was so bad that it's good.
Oh wow!
So
right.
For me, it's just so campy and not well done.
Yeah.
The nipple Batman meme and all that stuff.
Well, you know, you guys know why he did that, right? Why his rationale for putting nipples on them?
No.
He was trying to portray like the like Greek god stuff, how like Greek gods, like their statues and stuff had like definition, and then like that's what his whole thing was. It was just like he was trying to pay tribute to them that way. I don't say I agree with it. I was just like, all right, bro, how high were you when you thought of that?
Interesting thought, but yeah,
so,
it's on the bottom for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess the list right now is pretty close to the same. So, I'm only throwing this one in here kind of as a joke to Batman vs. Superman, and be Suicide Squad because of the fact that Batman is in it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just because I put this low because it's still in that world. Although that Batman that is portrayed in Suicide Squad, I'd rather see than the Batman vs. Superman one. But I digress. Anyway, so mine is actually switched from Tommy's. So I put Batman and Robin, and then I put Batman 66. So the reason I did that is it's pretty obvious that the Joel Schumacher's Batman is more closer to Batman 66. And I would say that's more likely because of WB's whole thing with Batman Returns when we get up to it later in the list. But I just know that like it was basically trying to be that, but not really crossing that threshold. So the reason I put Batman 66 though is because like when I was a little kid, I do remember watching Batman 66. And like yeah, it was daytime watched it, and I know that like my parents didn't enjoy watching it, but they let me watch it. So I don't know. I guess there's more of that end, and Adam West is cool. So, but yeah. As far as Batman and Robin, it's pretty bad. I will say this though. I appreciate that movie came out though, because if that movie never came out, then we would have never gotten Batman Begins. So that's like kind of like the positive light of that movie. But even though it's a really bad movie, I still enjoy watching it just for the cheesy one-liners. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. I don't care what you tell me. It's fucking awesome. Like his one-liners.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Stay cool, bird boy.
Hell, he was like the most paid actor on that movie because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I still feel that if you wanted to cast him in something cool, but they just didn't want to put a mask on his face, he should have been Bane. But you know, you don't want to put a mask over Arnold Schwarzenegger because then you won't be able to understand him at all. But yeah, that's pretty much where we are all the same on that. So what would you guys be going on next up the list?
You wanna go, Paul?
Okay. So I'm just trying to get everybody on the same number. I'm on number 9, right?
Yeah, I'm on 9 as well.
Okay. For my number 9, I have Suicide Squad, just for the same reason that Eddie said. To me, movie was not that bad as people were making out. It was entertaining, but it's just that Batman was hardly in that movie, so it's gonna be on the tail end of my list just because of that.
Same with me. I have Suicide Squad at number 9. Same. It was just like whatever movie, and I guess it wasn't that they didn't do the Joker right. I guess they had somebody else come in and edit it, took away the direct. They were talking about the whole taking away the director's vision and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why like people are
agree with it.
Because the Snyder cut. There's also a fan base out there for the Ayer cut. That's supposed to be like where it's actually Jared Leto does it justice.
Yeah, I guess they cut a lot of Jared Leto scenes out of that movie or something like that as well. But it seems to have an issue over there at DC with they're not letting they're hiring directors and not letting them fulfill their vision. So yeah, something's going on over there where they have to like correct that. Like if you're gonna hire somebody, maybe see the script first, see what kind of a vision they have, and then just let them run with it. But when they bring somebody else in, then you get crap like Justice League and Suicide Squad. So yeah, that's my number 9 as well. But like the good that came out of that was Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's character was good. I did like Will Smith's character as well.
Deadshot. Yeah, and he's gonna get to play it again. So that's why they didn't recast him for James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Not really anybody else. I can't really think of anything else that was a good thing that came out of that.
So really fast on that movie, like it was, like as far as the whole DCEU for it, it's really not the worst of them. I just think it's one of those movies that it is to the hardcore center a popcorn flick, because if you try to dissect it, like the movie falls apart very, very fast. So that's why like the villain in itself, Amanda Waller created the villain, and then if you start breaking down the villain, it's like, okay, well, it can't really stand on its own 2 legs because of how they become created, so it kind of falls apart. But as far as like, I mean, because now I think out of all of them though, the CGI in it, I think is the worst.
Oh yeah.
Granted, I know like I don't have it. I'm trying to think what DCEU what I don't have. So
I don't know.
I don't have Batman vs Superman. I don't have Justice League. I don't have Suicide Squad.
The de-aging in Aquaman was pretty bad as well.
Yeah, but I just know the reason I brought up the CGI though is because I know that for like TV films and stuff, like again how my dad's like easy to please. Like my dad will watch stuff like that. Like he'll watch Batman and Robin if they put it on TV. So I know it was on TNT recently, and I remember like he even told me, he was like, did it look this bad in the theaters? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. So like I'm just saying, like I base things off of him. So if he's looking at that, I'm like, oh, maybe the CGI on this shit's not as good as the other ones. So
it was bad. Yeah, DC has an issue with their CG. They need to hire like a new studio or something, because Suicide Squad sucked. The de-aging in Aquaman sucked. Justice League mustache, whatever meme or hashtag that mustache with the Superman and Henry Cavill, that was bad. Hashtag lip, whatever it is, but that was bad as well.
Worm lip.
They needed to fix it. So anyways, yeah, so that was, I guess, mine and Paul's number 9. What was your number 9, Eddie?
So it would have been Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just said the Suicide Squad would have been below it. So.
Oh, okay. Let me go with number 8, I guess. My number 8 was Batman vs Superman. I think you guys already talked about it already. You had Batman vs Superman lower than me, right? What do you guys?
Oh, we're already done with Batman vs Superman, bro.
Yeah. That's my number 8. Just because they didn't get Batman right. Other than the warehouse scene, which is probably the best fighting scene as far as concerning Batman. Other than that, the one critique of that I think I heard was that Josh Snyder, no, Scott, what's his name?
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder, that he wanted to make a Batman movie, and he kind of made Superman all like brooding and stuff like that. And Superman's not more of a hopeful character, and he kind of changed the character dynamic in Superman. So he just got the character all wrong. And he made Batman the killer. That whole stupid scene with the Martha, you guys talked about it already. Yeah, just a bad movie. So that's my number 8.
Okay, Paul.
So,
my number 8 is gonna be Justice League. Reason on that one, at least, is that I know that one's gone through like a mess of editing and all that stuff. So, it kind of shows on like the quality of the movie.
Yeah. Well, now that you've seen like his trailer and like his footage versus what Whedon put out, like that whole weird red ass filter in the fight scene is like fucking weird.
But I think you could kind of tell the effect that it had, especially when you changed to Joss Whedon. I think they added more humor to Batman, I believe, in Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's still a watchable movie, but you can totally tell like there was a different side to like these characters, and it's kind of because of the changes on there.
Yeah. Before I just go on my 8, like the one thing too, like I just noticed, like as we all kind of have them low, I'm just gonna stress it enough is like, I mean, Batman killing isn't Batman, so
yeah.
But I mean, it's just the whole dynamic of him and Joker is thrown off when you do that. But yeah, we'll see. I'm still, the more I'm looking into it, I'm interested in what Zack Snyder wants to do. But at the same time, I'm like not completely sold just because of Batman vs Superman. Like he had his director's cut of that, and like it bored me. So I'm hoping a 4-hour cut of Justice League don't do the same. So I would be, hold on, let me make sure I did it right, because it'd be 11, 10, 9 was Suicide Squad. Well, yeah, I already kind of talked about my 8 because mine was Batman and Robin. So
okay.
So then you guys would be next on 8.
I think Paul said his 8 was Justice League. My 8 was
Batman.
So
I guess 7.
To 7.
Well, I mean, mine would just be Batman 66, but I kind of gave that reason too. I mean, it's just, I put it in there just because of like I was a little kid and like Adam West kind of, as far as like, I guess kind of is the whole reason Batman is live action. So that's kind of why he's just kind of smack there in the middle. And it's Adam. I know it's like like when you try to watch it, it's like it is hard to keep watching it because it's not meant for adults. But I mean, it is funny to see like the other stuff, for instance, like the actor who plays Penguin is Mickey in Rocky. So it's like yeah. So like little stuff like that, So Cesar Romero is Joker. So and people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I still think Cesar Romero is a better Joker than fucking Jared Leto with his mustache. So.
Well, I'll say Jared Leto wasn't given a fair shake at it. I think you hate him anyways, but I think
so here's the thing. So I hate his portrayal. I don't hate Jared Leto. I think he's a pretentious douchebag, but I don't hate him. So I just
better not mess up Tron.
Oh fuck, man. That's a weird casting. I just hope it doesn't affect
Morbius.
Well, no, just like because they put him in Tron 3, like, and that's happening. I still think they should. I don't know what they're doing, but the villain Cillian Murphy was right there on the wall. Like they had everything they could have done, but that's for another podcast.
I think he's a good actor. I think he wasn't gonna. I think the script was bad. I think the director didn't get his vision. And especially
I don't know, man. Sending. I'm all for with the method acting, but sending dead rats and used condoms to your freaking coworkers. How the fuck is that joke? That's not Joker. That's just fucking disturbing. Like that's not.
No, I get you on that.
I'm like, bro, this is an excuse for you to say I sent Margot Robbie a used condom. You fucking sick fuck. Like, dude,
No, I understand what you're saying. I don't think that had anything to do with his portrayal and the script and all that. Like, I think,
according to him, it was research.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't think that movie in general was given its fair shake, and I think they see the potential in that franchise. That's why they're giving it to James Gunn and letting him kind of run rapid with it. And I don't know what they're gonna do with the Joker character moving forward. Like I don't think they're bringing Joaquin Phoenix back to do another movie.
No.
I don't know what's gonna happen with them, but they do need some kind of Joker moving forward in either the Batman franchise or in the DC universe. They need a Joker, so I don't know who it's gonna be, but. I don't hate Jared Leto. I didn't care for his portrayal of Joker as well. But yeah, whatever. So
yeah.
What are we on?
We'd be on number 7.
Mm-hmm.
What was your 7 again, Eddie?
Well, I haven't said it yet, so.
Oh, okay. What was your 7, Paul?
Okay, so for my number 7, this is my bold take. Snyder cut.
Oh damn! You're already throwing it out there.
I'm throwing it out
based off
there.
that one line from the trailer.
I think with the time that they have, it being 4 hours, I think they could flesh out a good Batman, and I think it's gonna be more solidified in the universe at least on what they're trying to go for with the hours that they put. You know, it would have to. So that's my bold take. It'll be a better Batman.
You can't put a movie on the list that's not even out yet. Like it's not even out yet.
Hey, Max Kellerman has a job, right?
What kind of list is this? Anyways, my number 7 is Justice League. So I think we talked about it already. Batman sucked. Joss Whedon kind of made Batman the worst character in the movie. But it's my number 7 because it's watchable. Like it's I could watch it. Batman sucks, but Aquaman stood out. Wonder Woman was really good.
I heard Flash did.
Flash was funny. And Superman at the end of the movie was Superman. Like he was like a hopeful, like a bright character, like the way he's supposed to be. Like his costume was more bright blue than the dark blue of the Man of Steel costume, I guess.
Well, I think you won't get that in the Snyder cut because I think it's gonna be black the whole time.
I don't have a lot of hope. I don't have a lot of hope for that Snyder cut. I think it's gonna be just a different version, some different crap that we're gonna get to watch, but it's gonna be a different version of it. So, but anyways, that's my number 7.
You can clip that part, and then just if it's a really horrible movie, just keep on replaying it throughout my life.
It's all good, man. We'll see.
Throwback Thursday. Remember this?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, like it's up in the air. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that could go really wrong with that movie, but I mean, you could be given benefit for the doubt. It could go right. I mean, 4 hours. I mean, an hour each. I mean, you can flesh out multiple characters. So, we'll see. Really fast before I give you guys my 7. Just going back to the whole Joker thing with Jared Leto. Just like, I think the reason I don't like his portrayal that much is like the whole gangster thing. To me, Joker is supposed to be unpredictable, and it could be just, I guess, my knowledge of the character now. Nothing that was done in that movie surprised me. It's just he didn't seem like Joker to me. He was just like a thug with a grill, and it was really weird. And like the whole thing that upset me was the dynamic between him and Harley. Like in the comics, like I don't condone it, but it's in the comics. Like he treats her like shit, and she's supposed to go to him, not he's supposed to be chasing her. Which I get, like it's a codependent relationship. So I mean, eventually that's how you portray it. But I don't know. It's just the way they made him like. Because he loves her in his own sick, fucked up way, but he doesn't, like... show her. So I don't know. It's just like I don't think they got that portrayal correctly. And if Ayer did it better, then cool. I mean, we'll never know because he said that there is no such thing as an Ayer cut. That he has no desire to do it. So
Yeah.
but we'll see. I don't really think we're missing out on Jared Leto being Joker. And I think it's just like, I know you're not supposed to, but everyone, I think I'll give you, so he probably didn't get a fair shake because of what the previous portrayal was before that, was you had Ledger. So you had like a pretty spot on comic book adaptation of Joker to Jared Leto, whatever the fuck you want to classify Jared Leto as. So, but yeah, I'll just close the door on that. I just wanted to bring that up as to why, because everyone's just like, man, he really hates Jared Leto. That's my portrayal why. Is like his Joker was not unpredictable. It was very predictable, and that's not what Joker's supposed to be. So, my number 7 though, we're going back to Joel Schumacher. Will be Batman Forever. So, Batman Forever. I think it's like not that bad of a movie, honestly. Like I would say, in just the whole 4 Batmans. It was still Tim Burton enough, and it wasn't full Joel Schumacher. But you could tell where like the studio came in and was like, that previous movie was too dark. You need to make this more for the kids. That's why it was like more neon colors. I don't know, just like it was the only one where Batman actually, like, the Batman villains didn't die, because Riddler. I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, it's been out. Riddler doesn't die, you know, he gets put in jail. So, but yeah, I don't know. Jim Carrey, it's Riddler, was more Joker-ish. But I don't know. I just like, it's a mixed bag, because like I guess there's a whole like story of like the actual third version of the Batman movie for Tim Burton, and it was supposed to be Billy D. Williams as Two-Face, which I think would have been really, really cool, and you never got to see that. But yeah, I mean, that's just what I'll say. Like, Batman Forever was like in the middle for me, so that's why it's my number 7.
They fired Burton on number 3 because it didn't make it. The number 2 didn't make as much money as number 1, I think, right?
Well, because that was, and it was super dark because of the whole like kidnapping the kids plot line. Like, it was, I just remember like it was controversial. Like the whole, I didn't know that as a kid, obviously, but when I got older, I learned that it was like the whole thing with like McDonald's didn't want to really do another thing because they're like, the last movie like kidnapped kids, like this is a Happy Meal. So it was just like, it was too dark. And then like, I know they like Tim Burton, like they kept like telling him you need to make it lighter, because there's I haven't looked for it in a long time, but back when like Dark Knight was coming out and I was like super like entrenched in Batman like I am Star Wars, like I looked up all this stuff, and there was a like someone cut out like Batman Forever and tried to make it like Tim Burton, and there's like deleted scenes where like he goes and meets that giant bat in the Batcave. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that video where it's like it's Val Kilmer and there's a giant bat. Like everyone thought it was Man-Bat, but it's just some giant ass bat that was in the Batcave, because that's where they like mess with his psyche, where he was like the trauma of him like losing his parents. They really focused on that in that movie, and that's like, that was supposed to be like a big reveal for it or something. But yeah, but whatever. Yeah, so that's my number 7, Batman Forever.
All right, so number 6. What do you got number 6, Paul?
I have Batman Forever as my number 6, and that's because one of the greatest songs of all time came out because of this movie.
Seal?
Kiss from a Rose.
Yeah.
Seal.
Yeah. No, I totally understand.
I think that whole movie had a really good soundtrack. That's my number 6 as well.
It did.
Is Batman Forever.
Damn good soundtrack. I will not argue with you guys there. It was a damn good soundtrack.
But overall, everything that you said was pretty kind of spot on.
Yeah, that's my number 6 as well. It wasn't as, well, it was a lot better than the George Clooney Batman. So,
oh yeah,
Val Kilmer did a good job. He was a good Batman. He was okay Batman, I guess. It was entertaining.
What do you think his Bruce Wayne was like? Was it okay, or was it like just whatever?
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't. It was like he gave a good performance. It wasn't like complete trash. Like Batman and Robin was complete trash. So
yeah, I mean, he didn't come back for Batman and Robin because of. I'm pretty sure he read the script and was like, "What?"
He was. I think he was feuding with Jim Carrey on the set of Batman Forever. So he was kind of, and I guess I don't know. I don't know the whole story behind it, but it was watchable. It's watchable. So,
and I do like Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Ooh, nice form, but a little rough on the landing. He may have to settle for the bronze. Like the jacket? It keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night.
It's kind of cool to see his portrayal because of knowing who Jim Carrey was and everything.
Got to ride at Magic Mountain.
Perfect casting.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right?
I think in the what's it called, the Tim Burton version, he was gonna bring on Robin Williams to be the Riddler.
Yeah.
So, but Jim Carrey he did a good job.
I mean, he made Riddler more mainstream after that.
Was that over the top? I can never tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 6 for me, in case you guys can't really tell, it's Batman 89. So I know like some people are like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" But in the Tim Burton movies, it's not like my number one, and I'll say why my number one is my number one. But it's cool, like Jack Nicholson as a Joker. I just think too, like as a kid, I don't know why I just didn't watch it as much as like. I'll just say as much as Returns, and I don't really know why, but because I have both of them on VHS, but the Batman Returns one was worn out more than Batman 89. But yeah, I mean, it was the first outing of Batman. Michael Keaton as Batman is cool. His suit is really kick ass. The Party Man scene in the museum is pretty funny. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Cool. So number 5. You want to go with your number 5, Paul?
Sure. Number 5 for me is going to be Batman Begins. I think overall, great, solid story. It's a great way to introduce the Nolan universe. But yeah, it's still solid. Like all the movies I've watched, and I own like a lot of these, so I know it's kind of in the mid-level as of right now. But to me, this one is it's still gonna be a good movie in my mind. But yeah, I like it.
All right, I'll go my number 5. My number 5 was Batman Returns. Okay. I just didn't like it as much as the original Batman 89. Some memorable performances. What's it called? Selena Kyle made her first appearance. Michelle Pfeiffer. Danny DeVito did a good job as Penguin. That's about it, I guess.
Christopher Walken is Max Powers.
Christopher Walken's in it. Michael Keaton gave another solid performance as Batman. I don't hate that movie. It's my number 5 out of 11. So
yeah,
it's upper echelon, I guess. What's your number 5, Eddie?
So hold on, I'm trying to make sure I counted this right, because now I think I 11, 10, 9, 5 would be 89.
89?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So did you skip one, or?
I think so. Hold on, because I said Justice League was the shit.
You gave.
You're right.
Your number 6 was Batman Returns. So your number 5 is 89.
No, because I have them switched. Somewhere along the line, I skipped
10
something.
on your list?
Are you changing your
That's
list
why.
already?
No, that's why. Because like I threw in Suicide Squad, but I just kind of gave a joke as to it. That's why. So yeah, no. Paul's right. I am where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
So mine would have been 89. It would be 89. 5 is 89. Yeah.
Okay. So your number 6 was
Forever.
Okay. That was my number 6 as well. So then yours 89, then Begins. Okay. What's your number 4? I want to go. You go 80?
Well, yeah, I mean, me and you are just switched on it because mine's Returns.
Returns, okay. Mine's is Batman. Mine's 89.
So the reason I know why I watch Returns more, I think now that I think about it, was I think the music, and I like the whole intro with Penguin. And I know that that's kind of the criticism that the Tim Burton Batmans get, is that they're not really focused on Batman. They're more his villains. but like he's got such a dynamic rogue gallery that like, you know, I mean, you have to like for people who don't know, you kind of have to like spoon feed the villains. So I think that's kind of why it is that way. But I guess it was just more established the world because like they gave Tim Burton kind of a more like free run. And then like Penguin stealing the Batmobile is really cool. And then I think again because I pretty much caved into what the studios wanted. I like all my Batman toys were all from Batman Returns. So like I have the Batmobile that like split apart, and like all the stuff from the movie. I think my god sister had the Penguin Batman, the one that like it had I just remember there was like a remote control Batmobile that somebody had, and it had the little thing that he put on the actual Batmobile was on that toy, and like and if you took it off, it didn't work. So little things like that, but yeah, that's why. I think it was just... I think also... I might just remember Returns more because I was little and I watched it all the time. Is why I watched it more than 89 is why it's up there. So...
Yeah. So that's your number 4?
Mm-hmm.
What's your number 4, Paul?
Mine is going to be Dark Knight Rises. I put this one above Begins, and not going to lie, it's mainly because of Anne Hathaway, so...
That's fine. Hey, no one's going to object with that, sir. No one will object with that.
Otherwise, it's a solid movie on that. Dark Knight Rises. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in the firm camp. I want her to get if they can still make a spin-off of her as Catwoman. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think that ship sailed already.
No. She still can play it. Go ahead, Paul. You were saying something. No, I cut him off though. Go ahead, Paul. What else were you saying?
Go ahead, Paul.
No, I just like the conclusion of it. Like a lot of the Batman series so far, they don't have like a conclusion to their franchise. I think this one is a good conclusion to it. So
yeah,
it gives you that opening for what's it called, Robin possibly, but it still gives you that conclusion for for the ending for Batman. So I thought it was good.
Yeah. My number 4 is Batman 89. So
okay.
I think we talked about that one like thoroughly already. Just I guess for me that's the first live action Batman that I seen, and it was like straight out of the comic books. It just the good depiction of Batman. So Joker, and then Jack Nicholson Joker. I'm gonna say second best Joker, better than Joaquin. I'm gonna say I didn't really like that Joker
that's
movie.
Fine.
So
that Joker movie is a character study and is very depressing. It was a good movie. That's it. I have no desire to rewatch it.
I didn't buy it or nothing. I was like, I'm good. I seen it one time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get.
No, I'll say like it's a good movie. I have nothing against it. It's a good movie. It's just not something that I need to like especially with what's going on right now. I really don't need to rewatch it again.
Oh, yeah.
It's a super dark movie. It's a product of the time, and it's no thank you.
Yeah. Batman 89 is my number 4. I guess it's like that was like beginning of the live action comic book movies back then. That was before any like Marvel movies or before. I mean, it was after Superman that came out in '79.
Michael Keaton was the first one to get the hate for being cast as Batman because he had just come off of Beetlejuice and everybody was.
Well, how tall is Michael Keaton? Like 5'6", maybe 5'7"?
I don't know.
On a good day.
Let me see. On a good day.
So yeah, he's not really the ideal physique.
Well, I mean, he was that, and he was a comedian, or he is a comedian because he still does do funny stuff, but so he wasn't known for like what he was about to portray. So
yeah, I would agree that he was an idea. Like he wouldn't have been my first pick to play Batman, but he did an adequate job. Like he's a good actor.
Yeah, so. I just remember that I don't think IMDb gives you their height, does it? It should.
Yeah, I think just Google him.
Depending if they give it, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just not on here, so just his age. I just remember like from what my uncle told me that like people didn't like Batman. Like when he got cast, like everyone's this movie's gonna fucking bomb. Like why would you cast Beetlejuice as Batman? So
for me, I was still young when that movie came out, but for me it was just like he's just a little guy. Like Batman's supposed to be like 6'2" and real muscular, and then he, like I said, he portrayed the character well as far as like his demeanor and stuff like that, but he just wasn't a physical presence. You know what I mean? That's the only thing. But
yeah, because I think because he also had done Mr. Mom before that. That was in '83, so like.
Yeah, and then
they're all comedy roles, man.
He did a good performance as far as like there was that cool fight scene with the guy with the swords, and then they had the Batwing in, and then he got beat up by that one black dude, but he threw him off. Remember he put his head in the scissor lock and he made him hit that big bow, and then threw him off. And he kind of killed him when he threw him off though. That's
the only thing. I mean, back then we were like, you know. Well, I know. I mean, going back to it because Batman Returns, like, it was one of the most criticized. Like, when Dark Knight was coming out, and I used to be part of a forum, and like we'd read, people would always get mad that like one guy had like Batman Returns as the signature tagline, and it was when Batman. Remember when he attached the bomb to the clown in the beginning of the carnival, and he looks down, and he's like, and he blows up, and everyone's like, that's literally not what Batman would do. I'm like, whatever, man. It fit that world, so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
And everyone's a hypocrite. Hey, man, no. It's just, I don't know.
So I don't know if it set the spark for all the comic book movies, but that was the first one that I think seen at the time. And I remember, well, I was too young to see Superman in theaters, but I did see Batman, and cool. It was a good movie. So anyway, number 4. What's your number? Did you ever talk about the number 4 already?
Yeah, mine was Returns. So, because remember, I'm like ahead of you guys, so I'm starting it. So because now would be my 3.
What's your number 3, Eddie?
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight, right? Okay.
Yeah. So, I feel like it is the weakest out of the trilogy, and I guess it's more so because of like other people have broken it down, because it used to be like my number 2. In the trilogy, but it got switched, and I mean, at its compared now to the fight scene in Batman vs Superman, I will say the one thing I wish Nolan had gotten better was Batman's fighting. Because the fight between him and Bane, realistically, is kind of bad, where it's just like elbow, punch, let me pick you up and break your back. The dialogue is awesome though. Like it's the whole line and everything. I still like love Tom Hardy as Bane.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding.
It does kind of like lose legs when you think about the fact that Batman stopped being Batman for 8 years because Rachel died. So yeah, it's what kind of like, and it's mainly because of the Fat Man, now Fat Man Beyond, but when it's called Fat Man on Batman, they were breaking down the movie, and like the same thing had been said, as they were like, yeah, well, Batman stopped being Batman for 8 years because his girlfriend died, and you know, like his parents died, and he kept going, and I'm like, fuck, you're right. So I don't know. Other than that, I mean, like the movie in itself, though, it's still, like Paul said, it's a good conclusion to that world. Christopher Nolan, as of right now, is the only director that actually got to put his vision of Batman on screen. So like, and that's why I think it's such a good trilogy, is because it's coherent, and like it never switched directors. It kept the same flow, and like each movie was a setup for the next movie. So I think too, like Rises, like I knew it was never gonna beat The Dark Knight. Like it was, I like how the movie is like a crescendo to the final fight, because the last like fight is cool. Especially the score and everything, the music and all that. I will just say that Talia's death is still pretty comedic, and I can't get over the fact of how she dies.
I agree with you on that. And then there were 2 separate scenes where dudes just fell over. Like,
I've seen those.
Fell over.
Like Batman just looks at them. I'm like, dude, what did he do? Like they just like jump back and stuff. It reminds me of the whole scene of, I know it's like weird movie to compare it to, but if you guys remember in Mortal Kombat when Johnny Cage, and when he goes to the guy, this is the part where you fall down.
This is where you fall down.
I don't know, that's what some of that reminded me of.
I don't remember that part, but I did remember watching the like YouTube videos of the fight choreography in Batman, right? The Dark Knight Rises, and this dude's just falling over, and I'm like, that's the worst. Like,
yeah.
So bad. But overall story, like that's the one thing about the Nolan Batman, that the story's great, but if they would have got the the action from like the Arkham games and put
Mhm.
that with the Nolan story, that would have been the greatest. I still think it's the greatest trilogy of all time, but it could just been so much better if they would have got the action right on those games,
Well,
on those movies.
I'm gonna nerd out with and say the trilogy of Batman, not the greatest trilogy of all time. but
Oh, you don't
yeah.
you don't think that
It's a great trilogy. It's not the greatest trilogy of all time though. That's a whole nother discussion. that's not what we're here to talk about. This is Batman only. Batman only.
I got you. We'll talk about that.
I just wanted to piggyback on it. The soundtrack for the Nolan ones with Hans Zimmer is probably the best one. For Rises, I think that's going to be the best one.
Yeah, best soundtrack.
Because Gotham's Reckoning is when that song comes on, that shit is
Gotham's Reckoning, crazy. Fire Rises. I have the extended version. I used it. I used it when I was going to school. All my films where I could put it in there, I put it in there. Like subtle parts of the score.
Just because.
Yeah, just subtle. Because like one of them I did where it was like a remix version of Bane. Like so, it was just like it wasn't the chanting part, but it was just the part in the warehouse where like he's getting in, but it was just like the subtle, like you could hear the Batman-ness of it, but it was like one of those things where you couldn't really do it. So when I put it into the video, I remember one of the students was like, "Hey man, this music sounds familiar," and then everyone's like, "Is that Batman?" I was just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So yeah. So that was my 3. What's your 3, Paul?
My number 3 is going to be Batman '89.
Okay.
To me, I think this one actually matched the time period, if that kind of makes sense.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect sense for it. Yeah.
It came out '89. I'm a '80s baby, so like to me, it fit that era. And of course, Jack Nicholson's portrayal of Joker, I think, scared me, to be honest, in the beginning. But overall, they had a Prince song in the soundtrack, and I thought it was a really, really good movie.
Oh, hey, the new king in town.
Just. And now, folks, it's time for Who Do You Trust? Hubba, 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 money, money, money. Who do you trust?
And it was my first, like Tommy said, the first one to watch. I didn't watch Superman before that, but I watched Batman like kind of growing up, so that was like the first one for me.
Cool.
Yeah. My number 3 is Batman Begins.
Okay.
So that's the start of the Nolan trilogy. It's a good movie. I just didn't think it was as strong as. I know you said you break it down. It's not as good as, or it's better than Dark Knight Rises, but I just feel Dark Knight Rises was more entertaining, and I felt like it gave a really good ending to that trilogy.
Yeah, it was because it's a finale, so
that's why I have it. I like it. It's a great movie, but same thing. I just wish the action was better in all of them, but the story's great on all of them. So, and it gave a good beginning and the total origins of Batman. So, I mean, it's good. That's number 3. That's my number 3.
Okay, so my number 2 was your number 3. Mine was Begins. So, yeah, just going off what you said. I mean, it's as Rises is a good finale, Begins is a good start. I mean, it's in the title, so
yeah.
It's I think it's one of the first to actually establish Gotham City as a realistic city, compared to what Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher did before. I like the grounded realism that it was. I know that like some people hate it. I know people that hate the Nolan trilogy, and I feel sorry for them. But I don't know.
I haven't met anybody that hates the Nolan trilogy.
Good, man. I'm glad for you. But I know the people that are out there, and it's like the criticisms they give me, I kind of get it, because it's like, well, yeah, it's a comic book movie. It's supposed to be like escapism, not realism, like grounded in realism. But I think that's why I like the Nolan universe so much, is because it was like, yeah, Batman could exist in a real world. I mean, the part of it is like, yeah, okay, well, if this was the real world, like everything get traced, and none of this would ever happen if you want to break it down. But just like the real world explanations for it, like the whole like him having the jumpsuit, the spelunking story, the Tumblr, yeah, all that stuff was just like a good setup, and I think Christian Bale was a really good Bruce Wayne. I'll just say it now because it's going to be apparent what the first one is. I just think the only thing they should have changed on him was the voice. Like, his voice is the only thing that... In Begins, it wasn't as bad as A Dark Knight, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's him being able to turn his neck allowed it to stick out more, but that's the one criticism, is that he'd be the perfect Batman if it wasn't for the voice. And Begins, the costume, at times, I remember, like, sometimes he looked like an egg. Like, his head looked like an egg, if you guys remember certain shots. Like, I'm just like, you could tell he wasn't comfortable and he couldn't move, so...
The costume wasn't the best, I'll say that.
Yeah, so...
The best.
But, I mean, other than that, like, the Scarecrow was... and then the fact that it didn't have, at the time, like, big villains, like, you didn't have Joker, you didn't have Riddler, you didn't have Penguin, it was the Mob. It was the Mob and Scarecrow. And Scarecrow wasn't even till the end. But it was just, the portrayal of it was really cool, so... And, yeah, that's just why it's my number 2, so... Paul, what would be yours?
My number 2 is gonna be The Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Dark Knight.
Dark
yeah,
Knight.
man, it's cool. There is no right answer for this list, so it's fine.
That's the wrong answer.
No.
to me, it's gonna be The Dark Knight, and I will say this: overall, it's the best story. But it's not my favorite.
That's fine.
For me, Heath Ledger is amazing in the movie. Christian Bale is amazing. Everybody did a good job. I just think Gary Oldman he gets overlooked a lot out of that whole trilogy.
Yeah.
I think he does a really good job as Commissioner Gordon, and he does a really good job in this particular Dark Knight. But overall, it's the best story. I like it. It's one of my favorite movies. It's just my number 2.
That's fair. That's fair.
My number 2 is Dark Knight Returns.
You mean Dark Knight Rises?
That's what I meant.
Yeah, because Returns is a cartoon one.
Yeah. Rises
it's also a good movie, by the way. But...
Rises is the one with Bane, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I should have googled that before I wrote it down. Just the finale, like it kind of wrapped everything up perfectly with that trilogy. So, like I said, the action sucked. The fighting scene.
Well,
like,
now, I mean, at the time in the theater, the 3 times I went to see it didn't. But
no, it sucked. Even then, because when you Batman's supposed to be one of the best fighters in the DC universe, and Bane's supposed to be like his equal. So, yeah, that fight scene between them both of them it was lacking. They could have got some better kung fu or something in there to get the Matrix guy to go and do the fight choreography on that one. Like we already talked about it, the 2 guys falling down when nobody touches them, just the fight choreography was really off on those movies. But I just felt like it wrapped up the story really well. And then you felt like Tom Hardy's performance as Bane, even though he's too short to be Bane, they should maybe CGI'd him or got somebody bigger. But he's a good actor, and he's a great actor, and he gave a really good performance in that role. And you felt like he could hold everybody hostage in that city. So, yeah, it was well done. So that's my number 2.
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I think we're like a couple months away from an actual Bane showing up in this world, but...
Yeah, alright. I hear you on that.
But you know what? At least he's wearing a mask.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Right? Exactly. Number 1, I want to hear Paul's number 1. I really want to hear Paul's number 1.
Yeah, you already know what ours are, so what's yours, Paul?
Batman Returns is my
wow.
favorite.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Hey, man, that's totally...
Yeah.
To me, it's my favorite cast, especially the villains. Yeah. And to me, it's the most, what's it called? Conceptual Batman, because I think Tim Burton tried stuff out in the first one, and I think this is where it kind of reached its potential.
Yeah, it crescendoed.
How it could be.
Yeah.
So to me, design-wise, in terms of the characters and in terms of sets and all that, as a kid, it kind of starts off your imagination, and I think that's kind of what led me to like this one a lot more. I think the darkness of Batman kind of shows throughout the sets because of like the coloring and everything. So for me, Batman Returns is my favorite one.
Cool.
Yeah, well, just going on really fast, going on what he said too, because I want to say that because of that pretty much, yeah, because it was Batman Returns and Batman Animated. So, like, that whole world that was built by Tim Burton translated into, like, the cartoon. So.
The greatest cartoon of all time.
Oh, hell yeah. That yes, I agree. No, that they'd be right now. It is the greatest cartoon. I will go with it with you and say Batman Animated is the best.
So I'm going to say my number one, it's The Dark Knight, of course. But I know it's yours as well, so go ahead and start the conversation on The Dark Knight. Why that's your number one?
So, going, like, the reason, too, I also like the Nolan films is because, like, at that time, like, I was hardcore into, like, wanting to be in film, and Christopher Nolan is, like, one of the directors I look up to. So I liked how, like, each movie had a theme, and the color scheme was different for each movie. So I think Dark Knights is, like, the perfect color scheme. Like, I love all those posters that they have. I have all of them as a cycling wallpaper on my computer. The blue and everything, it was just perfect. The one thing that is compared now, like, the suit is still cool, but at sometimes I'm like, that's too armory. But because with Christopher Nolan's films, like, each movie he gets better, and I think just Dark Knight was the perfect, like, firing for him as a director. Like, on, like, the whole way he brought up Joker is there was no origins because he just went off the comic where Joker just is. So that in its own was cool. The world was already established with, like, the mob, so it just, like, it was a build on it, and it was just the next installment. So you didn't have to have any backstory. It was just the next movie. And it's one of those things cool, like, if you don't watch Begins, though, you can still watch Dark Knight by itself, and it's still a really, really good movie on its own without being connected to Begins or Rises. And that's why it's also on my number one. Batman in itself, like, that to me right now is the closest you get comic book Batman. Like, I know people are like, oh, like, you know, the Christopher Nolan one did kill because Ra's al Ghul, he didn't save him, but he didn't intentionally kill him. And I like how Christopher Nolan goes out of his way to actually portray that, where Tim Burton, I think Joel Schumacher actually, if you want to give him credit for that, really, his Batman didn't kill either. But, like, Tim Burton's didn't intently kill, but he also didn't, like, intently, like, portray that. Whereas Christopher Nolan made it a point to say, no, he doesn't kill because of the fact that his parents got killed by the gun, and I like that they showed that. And then I think Dark Knight, now that I think about it, is the only movie that doesn't really bring up his parents again. That's why I think Dark Knight is, it's just a good action movie too. So that's that was the continuation of the score being really, really awesome. So
yeah, not to mention the Heath Ledger's performance in that movie, like that. He really, like, he brought that character to life, and he made him menacing, and he brought the Joker to life. He brought him out of the comics. He was you feared him, like he was unpredictable.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. Ta-da! It's gone.
It was a great performance. Like, I think his performance made that movie more so than anybody else in that movie.
Yeah, and I think it's also too the reason, like, it's the number one Batman film for me too, is that it's the one that got their relationship correctly. Like, it was like it was the yin and the yang that you see in the cartoon, and that's why I was just like, oh, it was awesome.
You just couldn't let me go, could you? This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. You truly are incorruptible, aren't you? Huh? You won't kill me out of some misplaced sense of self-righteousness. And I won't kill you because you're just too much fun.
Yeah.
And Two-Face was cool too, for the brief moment you got to see him.
Yeah. Just a great cast, great story. Wish they would have did, the action would have been better, but other than that, it was just.
But I will say, it's compared to Begins though, it's better than Begins action, because the whole scene, the thing that makes me sad is because I don't know if you guys ever played the Batman Begins video game. Like, it was a decent game. It wasn't, like, bad, but it wasn't, like, what do you call it? Like, didn't stand out as, like, a WoW title. But I was excited for the chance of a Dark Knight video game, but I think they didn't do it because, obviously, Heath Ledger died. But that whole scene at the end, when he's going up in the tower, which you kind of got to play that in Arkham City, but, like, at that time, I'm like, oh, man, like, this would be such a kick-ass level in a fucking video game. Like, the whole, like, him saving the doctors and all that stuff. Like,
yeah.
It was perfect video game, and I'm like, ah.
That opening scene, too, I want to mention. The opening scene with the bus drivers and stuff, and where he's
where you get the prologue, when you get him introduced? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great. And then the Dark Knight Rises opening scene with Bane and the airplane, that was there's great opening scenes in those Nolan movies, you know? Just epic, like just the scale of them, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I know that's. I mean, those movies cemented his experience with IMAX.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I've seen them both of them in IMAX as well. So.
That's why, like, Tenet, and when we get the chance to, if it's still around, I do want to see it in IMAX.
Of course. Hopefully we'll see what's happening with all that stuff. But yeah, I really wanted to get to see anything in the movies right now. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's the Dark. I have to go with Dark Knight as well. That's my number one best Batman live action Batman movie. How do you feel Dark Knight compares to overall comic book movies though? Like, it's up there. I think top
it's still up there, yeah. And it's just because, like, certain things from the comics, like, stand out. Like, you can actually tell, like, what stories inspired that movie. Like, you can actually, like, for me anyway, I can see the panels that inspired it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's just it pays so much respect to the comics, but still kind of creates its own thing. That's why, like, I think it's probably not fair, but I do put those movies on a pedestal. And then I think that's why I'm so critical of, like, the Snyder version is, like how you said, like, Marvel made the standard. Okay, Nolan made you don't have to follow the realism, but Nolan gave you the standard of how to make a Batman movie, and you gave me that. Like, it's like...
That's why when they're talking about the new Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman, they're talking about him just being in, like, a real-world scenario. Like, we already had that with Nolan. Like, I want to see Batman taken into the DC universe and explore that. I know Snyder kind of did it, but Snyder just didn't do it right. So we need somebody that's going to give it proper direction and a proper, like, just like a plan. You need to have a plan with these characters, these movies, and where you want to take them to. So, like, it's cool that Matt Reeves kind of wants to do that. If you want, that's what he wants to do, and just do his own thing and have Batman off to the side. But we've already had that with Nolan, and I feel like it's one of the greatest trilogies, if not the greatest trilogy of all time. So, like, I don't need to see that again. And it's cool that it's a different interpretation of it, but I want to see Batman. I want to see Batman and Superman. I want to see Batman interact with the Justice League and stuff like that. So that's what I want to see. What the DC movies going forward, these characters cross over and have a greater, I guess, enemy to fight or whatever. Greater something with more substance and more cohesion and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to in these movies that are coming up with Wonder Woman and Batman and all that stuff. So, but anyways, I kind of rambled on for a little bit there.
It's all good.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, so based off of, like, what we have, like, if you had the chance to revisit, like, these properties, like, so since Michael Keaton, it's rumored that he was in talks. They haven't even confirmed that he did sign for Flashpoint, but if Michael Keaton really is in Flashpoint, like, would you want to continue, like, if you had the chance to, would you want to continue back with the Michael Keaton Batman, or would you want to, like, now that it was John Blake Robin, or whatever his middle name was, and go back to Nolan and have him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt play Batman, or, like, if Matt Reeves' Batman does really, really well, like, because as far as, like, let me back it up. So the reason I know the solo Batmans that you had with Nolan, the reason he didn't do Robin was because in the comics, he felt that Robin was just there so Batman had someone to talk to. And like, at the same time, like, it's not very responsible to have a kid with you. So I know he would have wanted to do, like, the Tim Drake Robin. So I think that might be why we don't get that version of Batman because of the fact that he's, depending on if you want Tim Drake or even like Jason Todd or Dick Grayson, like when he's Robin, he's a kid, so it's like I don't know if like they can film that, if it would still be allowed to be PG-13 due to MPPA guidelines. But yeah, I don't know. Just like, would you guys want to like, if you could, would you guys go back to continuing those stories or nah? Like, are you guys like, do you think that like there's no way to like, I don't even know where I'm going with it, but yeah.
Me personally, I think I can see that. I wouldn't mind seeing something with the future of the Michael Keaton one, but I think in terms of the universe-wise, I don't want it to be oversaturating the market with Batman movies.
Yeah, because I think he is the most superhero movie. Like, I think he's the one that's had the most reboots.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be oversaturated with technically the same character. You know?
I got you. Yeah, so... I totally get that. So if so I'll switch my question up. So if Batman Beyond was a thing, like it actually was going to happen, and you had to base it off of pre-establishing Batmans, like the Batman Beyond is going to be a feature of either the Nolan Batman or the Michael Keaton Batman or even the Joel Schumacher Batman or the Zack Snyder Batman, like which one do you think would be more probable based off of the TV show? Because I don't know if you necessarily guys have read the comics, because the comics, they still continued them, and they're kind of different from the cartoon.
I would want just because I feel he did it really. I think he just said his physical presence. It would be cool to have Ben Affleck be the Bruce Wayne in that Batman Beyond.
Okay, that's fair.
I think he's a good actor. And like I said, the action scenes are pretty cool, and I think his grittiness of that character, like I don't feel like, I feel in the Batman vs Superman movie, I think the script sucked and they had him killed. So like I just think I think Zack Snyder didn't get the character right, but as far as the actor is concerned, I think Ben Affleck could do a good job as an older Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, to piggyback off what you're saying, I'll say like I will give Zack Snyder credit. Visually, he looks like the most Batman out of all the Batman movies.
Yeah,
like he is visually he is the most Batman. And I can't stress enough, like, I wish that when I did hear Batman vs. Superman, when Alfred put the voice changer in, I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, if they had had that for Nolan, it would have been perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
But...
I hear you on that. But if based on, like, the success of the movies, I would say you would probably have to go Christian Bale as that Bruce Wayne in the Batman.
Well, no, I'm just saying based off the world building that it established. Like, what world would you want to have Terry McGinnis like be Batman, and like because I like based off that, like I think it would be cool to see in a Nolan universe, but you'd have to be like super futuristic. But I would like, I know this is like a different director and a different movie together, but if you had like a Blade Runner setting for Batman Beyond, I think that'd be kick ass.
I need to watch Blade Runner. I haven't seen any of those movies, but no, I get what you're getting at. You would have to have a director that just cared about the characters and just presented a good story and had a good script to go along. You know what I mean? Just it would have to, everything would have to add up. But I would love to get a Batman Beyond movie. Like we're talking about like Paul was talking about not oversaturating the market, but it would be cool if they do like Elseworld stories. Like I was watching some YouTube videos on the best Elseworld stories in the DC universe, and they're talking about like Superman Red Sun, Batman Speeding Bullets. Like some of those stories, like it'd be cool to turn them into like live action movies, and anything with Batman Beyond would be cool as well. Like you could go and do the whole Bat family with like to tell Jason Todd story, like tell the Red Hood story. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you would go about it, but those are great stories to tell. So I don't know.
Paul, is there anything else you like Batman Beyond? Like, what world would you want it to come from, just based off of the movies?
I don't know. Like, I don't really feel like I know the Batman universe too well to like really pinpoint anything. So for me, I don't really have an answer for that one.
That's fair.
How about you? Eddie? What do you think? What Batman would you want portrayed in
So I guess
that setting?
it just depends on the Bruce Wayne you want. Because I would say I think it's just because it got fleshed out and it was more consistent in tone. Like Nolan's Batman seemed more like Batman, so I think it would be like that Bruce Wayne would be interesting to teach another Batman how to do it. But on the flip side, like Tim Burton's world, just aesthetically, like a future version of the Tim Burton version, not the Joel Schumacher one, would be cool. And I mean, it's just the nostalgia of seeing Michael Keaton be Bruce Wayne again for that. I think kind of outweighs the Nolan version. So I probably would personally say if I had to pick and someone had a gun to my head, I'd say Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne for Batman Beyond. I wouldn't know who to cast as Terry McGinnis right now, so. But
no.
That's not.
But I would
something
love,
I could do.
I would love to see the Bat family get introduced in any kind of Batman movie. Dick Grayson as Nightwing.
Well, that was the thing. So I know Titans right now is doing that to a degree because they have the two Robins. They have Nightwing, Dick Grayson, and they have Jason Todd Robin. At one point in time, there was a green light for a Batwoman or Batgirl, not Batwoman. There was for a Batgirl movie, but I think Whedon's bridge has been burned with that. But like, would you still say like there's like Batgirl brings in the other Bat families, or how Paul says like you don't want to saturate the market with Batman anymore, so just because it's Bat automatically, do you think Batgirl should just like not get it because it's Batgirl, so and it's a tie to Batman?
Unless you do it like how Marvel's doing it, where you like I think everything DC is going over to HBO Max. So if you do like a series of either.
So would you want it as a TV show then going forward to introduce the Bat family?
Possibly, because I think it's the only way to really do it.
I think it's too hard to do them in a movie because Batman Forever, Batman and Robin kind of tried that, and I know it was campy, but it was just making Barbara Alfred's niece was weird.
I don't know how you would do it in a TV show either, though. Like, because you would need to like introduce like Batman's the main character in the Bat family. You know what I mean? Everything revolves around Batman, so you would need to have him. I don't know if you guys maybe do a Batman series, maybe, and then maybe have a movie every 3 or 4 years. You know, maybe have a series revolving about Batman and just have him come out with a movie every so often where he interacts with Superman and all that. I guess maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it also brings up to what Paul said. Like, it might be oversaturating the market too. Like, if you think about it. I don't know. We'll see.
Because if you're gonna have like multiple universes at the same time making Batman movies, I feel like that's oversaturating it.
No. What I'm saying though is like have Batman like as streaming on your HBO Max, having like maybe 10, 12 episodes a year where you have like a overall story, like a Hush story, whatever, where you're gonna have 12 episodes in that one story, and then that's your Batman, and then have a movie every few years as well. You know what I mean? I think that'll work. And then in that Hush storyline, you can introduce your Robin, your Batgirl, your Red Hood, your Nightwing.
I get what you're wanting to do. You want to build the world of Batman on screen. You want it to be something because I think too. Like I know that's. I guess some people have criticism with DC because like majority of the villains that come out and do things are all Batman villains.
Yeah.
Because I think Suicide Squad wasn't half the team all like the one that came out was Joker, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, Deadshot. They were all Batman villains. Because Captain Boomerang is technically Flash's, right?
Not necessarily though too either, because was it Batman versus Superman was Doomsday, right? That's
no. I'm gonna base off of just like I know that like majority of the time it's usually like Batman villains, because like same thing with like in like video games like Injustice, like a majority of the villains are Batman villains. So I guess Batman and himself and DC are just kind of hand in hand, so he kind of already saturates the market.
Yeah, but I think that's the best way to do it if you're gonna do like try to introduce the Bat family. It's kind of hard to do it in a 2 or 3 2-hour movie. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see if that video game we'll see how good that video game does.
Oh,
the Gotham Knights. It's basically gonna be that.
Yeah. It's a video game though. You're throwing all kinds of characters in the video game.
Yeah,
so.
but I'm just saying. I don't know.
Like literally the Spider-Man video game is every single Spider-Man except for Venom and Carnage, but it's like Vulture, Doc Ock.
It's a Sinister Six.
Yeah, all those villains are in there, and it's a video game, so you kind of can do that because you need them as bosses to fight, I guess.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah. Hey, did you want to read that letter that Jose wrote?
Oh shit! Fuck, I totally forgot. Yeah. All right, so this is from Jose. He wrote an email into the podcast, so I'm just gonna read it. So it says, "What's up, GCM casters? Love the last podcast, and I too can't wait to see what DC has in plan for this new movie. I dig the new trailer, and man, I gotta tell you, this movie is no vampires and glitter theme. LOL. Twilight for those that didn't know. When I heard that Robert Pattinson was playing Batman, I couldn't see it, but I was wrong. But so far I am sold and can't wait to watch it." And then his list of Batman films, he says, "So now for the list of Batman films, it's going to be hard for me because I do enjoy all of them, and I love the animation ones too. But for me, the one on the top is..." So I'm just going to read his in order. So he didn't put 10. He didn't take Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, or Suicide Squad. So he just did the ones that just have Batman in the title. So his number 1 is Batman 89 with Michael Keaton. His number 2 is Batman Returns. His number 3 is The Dark Knight. His number 4 is Batman Begins. 5 is Batman Forever. And 6 is Batman and Robin. And I like he actually put the years that they came out. He put all the years that they came out on the numbers. And then he says he didn't know where to place 1966 because he doesn't remember much about that movie. So he just put it at 7. And then, coincidentally, he asked what I asked. Have you guys heard anything about anyone making or planning for a Batman Beyond movie? Because that would be freaking awesome. Well, guys, keep making the podcast and love hearing what you guys have to say every week. And I hope I get to see you guys after this COVID disaster. Later, GCM. So, thank you, Jose.
Where did he have Dark Knight Rises at?
Oh, you know, he didn't put it on here. So Rises didn't even make the list.
Wow.
Damn. I'll ask him. He might have forgot. But yeah. So his number 1 is Keaton. And then number 3 is Dark Knight. Yeah. So I wonder if Michael Keaton is his ideal Batman.
Probably.
Is he your ideal Batman?
No.
No? So yours is Bale?
I'll say I'm still waiting for them to come out with like an ideal Batman. Like,
so based off right now who's portrayed, there's no like if someone told you, "Oh, my Batman is..." Like for me, it's Nolan. Like that shit's all over my wall. But
yeah, I just wish the Nolan series would have had better action. Like the action, like the choreography, fight scenes were lacking a lot in that movie. Like, okay, I always go back to when we went to go watch the Matrix. When the 20th anniversary release, when we watched it in Dolby.
Oh, like, and we had the terrible speaker experience by us, Paul. Remember that?
But the action in that movie was better than anything that's came out since. You know what I mean? Better than any Marvel movie. Better.
Yeah,
than
but it's the Wachowski brothers. Like aren't they like pretty much known for action movies?
No, but they brought in like people from Hong Kong or China.
Yeah, I think that's what they were revolving around.
They had the actors train in that they do like crazy training like 6 months ahead of time to get them all ready for the different fight scenes that they're gonna do and train their bodies and stuff like that. So when you see the finished product, you could tell the time they put into it, and like I said, it was better than any movie that we've seen since. So Dark Knight came out almost 10 years after or the Nolan Batmans came out after the Matrix, and still couldn't compare to those fight scenes.
I'll give you the credit on 1 in Reloaded, but
no,
Revolutions was.
I'm going off of the original Matrix.
Oh yeah.
The two other ones are just like, I mean, they were good. The fight scenes were cool. The action scenes were cool and all, but it just didn't live up to the first one. And that goes for most sequels, you know.
Yeah.
The only thing that compares to it now would be the the fight scene in Winter Soldier in the elevator, and the fight scene in
Daredevil.
Civil War.
Daredevil hallway fight, man.
The stairway in Civil War with Winter Soldier and Captain America.
Yeah.
And then the Daredevil fight scene, the hallway scenes was cool as well, but it was just kind of more gritty than anything, I guess.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as like skillful as those other ones that I mentioned. But that's what I compare everything to. Like when you compare everything to the Matrix, it's just nothing kind of stands up to that. So if you get a fight scene that kind of could get on that level, then you're talking about something special, you know?
Yeah, I got you. And then Paul.
I watched The Raid.
Yes. No. You've seen that movie, right, Tommy?
That's my bar.
Yeah, The Raid's good.
That's my bar.
The Raid.
That's a kick-ass bar to go to too.
Who copied who? Did the Raid copy Judge Dredd, or Judge Dredd copied the Raid?
The Raid's its own thing,
Judge
dude.
Dredd copy.
Raid came out before Judge Dredd? No, what I mean, the concept of the movies were very similar, where they're stuck in the building and had to fight their way out. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the new Judge Dredd, not the lone Judge Dredd. But yeah, the Raid 2 was real gory when it's hitting that dude with the hammer. I actually had to look away. I was like, that was real gory. So.
Yeah. But yeah, no, original question, just really fastball. Your Batman, would you say it was did Bale then, or would it be Keaton?
I'll still say Christian Bale.
Okay.
I liked his performance better. I just like the stylization of the 80s, 90s one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you brought up a good point saying that it's like, it was, like, definition of the times for it. But yeah, so as for this episode, I think we're going to call it a night. Thanks for listening, guys, or watching if you're watching the YouTube video. If you do want to email us questions or comments or talk crap about the list that we put out, please email me at gmail. Let's see, I'm getting tired. Email me at geekconclave@gmail.com. I do have a TeePublic store if you want to rep the pod or put a Mandalorian on a face mask for you. It is teepublic.com/geek-conclave. Yes, that's all going to be in the link, the description. So yeah, that's it, guys. Have a good night, and we will see you next time.